Some 72 hours after the start, we were involved in a collision where we were struck by a Spanish fishing trawler. Now that's pretty bad, especially if you happen to be the unfortunate chap on the wheel when the collision happened. The pure focus was on, are we okay, can we carry on? That the premise being nothing could have been said to myself or the watch that would come anywhere near the internal dialogues we were having with ourselves. And she was going round trying to raise funds, and she happened to be at this dinner party. And there was a very wealthy Texan oil tycoon. And she went up and said, "Excuse me, sir, my son is in the army, he's very brave, he's very, very badly injured. I'm trying to raise a couple of $100 to get him a wheelchair. Can you help?" He turned around and said, "No. Think big, little lady. What do you actually want? Do you want a wheelchair? Or do you want somewhere for the wheelchair to go?" The pilots incorrectly diagnosed there to be an engine fire in the right-hand side. They then follow the correct procedures to extinguish a fire. You turn the fuel off and push the extinguisher buttons. They then made a tannoy announcement saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. We're going to make an emergency landing at Midlands Airport. We did have an engine fire on the right-hand side of the aircraft. Not to worry. We're going to carry on using the two good engines." Now, no one spoke up. No one spoke up to say, "Hang on, chaps, do you want to just double check?" And that kind of comes back to what we were saying about that chain of command and having the strength to say, "Hang on a sec, I'm not happy here. Are we sure about this?" And the consequences of no one speaking up is quite plain to see, in that the aircraft crashed several thousand yards short of its emergency landing. Now we can all take a really, really, really simple lesson from this. Speak up. Fun. So when we talk about fun, what are we talking about? It's more than just a gags meal out at Christmas. It's the glue. It's the bit that holds us together when we're a team. It's the formality with the sense of humanity. Now the question we're going to ask ourselves here is, at what point did Bligh choose to become the subject of a mutiny? The captain governed his relationship with his men in such a way he didn't have the relationship to counter the threat. And this is really, really important concept for us, because as leaders we need to be aware that any enemy will seek to undermine this grassroots confidence in the leadership. And that could be on the battlefield, in the boardroom, or, given the right set of circumstances, from within your own team. I thought, I've got to do something, and I've got no idea what to do. I thought, well, what do I actually know? I thought, well, actually, all I know right now is my feeling. I just turned around, I was like, guys, I've got to be totally honest here. I'm really scared. I'm really, really scared. And what's worse is I really regret missing the life raft day on the sea survival course. And I don't know where it came from, but it was just enough. It was just enough for the realisation to click in the fact there was no cavalry coming over the hill. If we were going to solve the problem, we needed to do it internally. We needed to find the solution within ourselves and within that crew. And this is sort of the transferable bit, really. When you're doing your drills and when you're practicing and you're talking through scenarios, be it on land or in your office-based environment, it's really a case of just consider, what's that going to look like? What's that feeling going to be? A part of the debrief is to really dig into and appreciate that feeling.